Alright, peace y'all, Underground Railroad TV. We live here in the basement in Harlem with the legends, the living legends, A.A. Rashid and Blue Pill, half of the pillars. Alright, ain't see y'all in a while. A.A., what's going on? You been in L.A.? I thought I said red, my fault, man. I thought I said red. Let me start this over.
Nah, you good. That's good comedy, nigga. Let's go.
That's the outtake for school.
Yo, but let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
What y'all think about the documentary? I know both of y'all come from this hip hop culture. What y'all think about this documentary that just been aired on TV this past week, Tanning of America? I don't know if y'all seen it, but
I heard about it. I heard they giving up the game, showing up how we influence everything. Yeah,
right.
Am I correct?
Yeah,
pretty much.
It influence everything as far as the music is concerned, and it's just about time. And it's really an old story when you take in consideration that the media is controlled by Jews. If people do diligent history and understand what the Jewish psychology was when they first got here, is that they wanted to re-amalgamate themselves into a new cultural paradigm, and the one that they choose, the one that they thought was the most authentic American experience, was that of the black people.
Culture.
You know what I'm saying? Black culture. So you have Al Jolson, turn of the century, in the first motion pictures, he's wearing blackface. And many of us was offended by that, but we didn't understand the psychology and the dialogue in the Jewish mind at the time, that they were trying to actually be not Jewish but be American, and they didn't choose white face, they chose black face to be American. You know what I'm saying? So these are people who spoke Yiddish. They came from their ghettos to this ghetto, and one of the first pastimes that they did was they the ones that created what's called a Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon is when you could come and see 5 seconds to 6 seconds of actual film footage with no sound. So that was like a miraculous thing in those hoods. So this opened up the first movie houses, you know. So it's interesting that the first people that opened up the movie houses it only came from 5 Jewish families that was all within like a 500-yard radius, 500-mile radius away from each other in Europe. You know what I'm saying? They came over here. Some of them had backgrounds in furs, furniture, you know, yeah, all type of stuff. So they say, you know what, let's do this motion picture thing. And we were the soundtrack to the motion pictures. You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm 39, I'll be 40 this year. I remember the Beastie Boys. I remember seeing the Beastie Boys. I remember seeing, one of them lived in Brooklyn Heights. I remember seeing Jewish kids adopting and I'm not gonna call it a misappropriation of culture, because they got grandfathered in by an authentic source in the form of Russell Simmons and Rick Rubin. When Def Jam was a boutique label, it's like they made that label up in like a college dorm or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, the long story short is good. VH1 is doing some good journalism, media journalism in that respect, to show that American culture belongs to the authentic people who have an authentic experience here. So us in our community, I'm kind of digressing from the old paradigm of pointing fingers community, the conscious community of it's their fault, they fault, they fault, this is what we need, and all that. Because everybody got the issues all twisted. The issues that they think is the most plaguing ones in our community don't even reach the top 10. You know what I'm saying? Issues that pertain to black people. So my thing is, I'm trying to address the spirituality and the paradigm shift based off of music, media, entertainment, because that's where the ancestors is hiding. The ancestors is hiding in ignorant times. The ancestors will hide in various forms. So if you really love your ancestors and you love spirituality and you believe in the ancestors and that they are the ones who set the tone, then listen to the pulse of the sound of culture and you'll find out what direction they going in. And right now, this is one of the moments that we was waiting for when we was kids. We was the ones listening to, we remember when Q-Tip first came out. We heard it on the radio. It came on that song, In Time, with the Jungle Brothers. So we was like this, like, did you hear that? Like when we was little. And we was like, yo, we was there for golden era, Lakim Shabazz, all of that King's Son, You know what I'm saying? All of that. We seen the golden era, and then we seen NWA come, and then we seen Two Live Crew, and we seen the declination of, perhaps I want to say, the cultural motifs, but the evil hip hop came in to save hip hop financially and make more money so that we can have a conscious paradigm where now the young people, it's cool now to know stuff, to be intelligent, to have science. You know what I'm saying? On the cap. You know what I mean?
That shit is like accepted now, as opposed to when we were younger. That was you was the new weirdo if you even was running around trying to be deep or smart. Right. Now
you had to be a
Soldier
tough
Boy is
5%.
like, Soldier Boy talking about his third eye's open.
Well, shit, even 7 years ago when we first got into all of this, when you first came home and we was building, dudes wasn't,
at all. And now
the internet kind of opened it up a lot.
It did.
It did, alongside with, just a lot of shit, you know what I mean? Just like you said, it's just a sign of the times. If you just study epochs and the way that this whole thing is, forecasted to be, like, we are in a deterioration, you know what I mean? We are in the Malkuth, we are in Kali Yuga. So seeing shit deteriorate, seeing things, devolve, if you're really deep into your occult sciences and you're not wearing your sleeve, your heart on your sleeve like that, where you're thinking that you could save the world and you could dictate what everybody's behavior is supposed to be and all of this other stuff, then you won't get caught up in the emotions. You'll know what you're seeing, and you just know that at the end of that dark tunnel there's some light.
Right.
When it came to the whole VH1 special, I saw 2 of them and whatnot, and I made a post on Facebook. I think it was either yesterday, no, it was this morning as a matter of fact, and I posed a question: is it the tanning of America or the bleaching of Black America? You gotta really ask yourself that question, because who benefited off of the culture being quote unquote introduced into mainstream America by the culture going pop? And it's just a rhetorical question. I'm not really, it's put out there for the Facebook scholars and the people out there who have points of view, and they were interesting points of view in the comment section and whatnot. So the show is crazy. Like, it's really showing you, it's basically building on what we came with the Blueprint 322 and was like, hip-hop is the consciousness of the world. Hip-hop dictates the consciousness around the world, and they're blatant you, showing you that. So in the post, I'm like, yo, we are beautiful, creative, magnificent people who defy all of the odds. I'm a 75 baby. My pictures in the Bronx when my pops are showing me pushing the carriage, the shit look like 8 missiles, 8 drones hit the fucking buildings around us. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I come from, so I can imagine the world I was looking at as a youth, and then as a little jit, the crack era, the shit that we were seeing, the zombie life and all of that other stuff. So for us to evolve out of that and to do what we did, even though some people may have their things about, oh, that nigga Puff, he a house nigga, they dancing around and cracking, you know what I mean? Like, there's all kind of, it depends on what side of the bed that you wake up. That's the dart that you could throw at these dudes and whatnot. But at the end of the day, we survivors. We had to survive, and we went ahead and created this culture. We added on it and put pieces into this culture that we all are benefiting from these days. But on the flip side of that, I was like, if they want to say the tanning of America, you know what I mean? Like, we tanned America, why is it that I can't get a job if I wanted one in New York City 2014 as this hip-hop dude, part of a $1 trillion industry? Why is it that, the jails is fucking bustling at the seams? Why is it that, things are the way that they are? And it goes back into what I said earlier, that if you understand it, that this is that era, things are devolving, things falling apart. So things, order out of the chaos. You know what I'm saying? Right. You might fall back and just be like, well, fuck it. Just get into your studies. Just do the good work. While this shit falling apart, make sure you in line doing some of the things that we doing, and it just won't hit you that well. It won't hit you that hard, because at the end of the day, against all odds, when shit was completely out of control, you chose to be the weirdo. You chose to be the oddball and do something right.
Now, I want to ask you a question, particularly, Red Pill.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what year it was. Might have been like 2004, 2005. I'm not sure. But I witnessed you come with a revolutionary idea. Set up shop on the streets of New York, Harlem, right next to Sarnetta. Yeah. You came with these comedic shirts. Fast forward, 2014, Kate Perry in her video dressed in comedic. Juicy J dressed comedic. Tiger got a whole comedic store in LA. Now, I seen you with your shirts, and all you want to do is teach people their history, that we come from something besides slaves. How do you feel when you see mainstream culture embrace this comedic culture, but at the same time not really know what it's about?
It's poetic justice at the end of the day. Like I said, I can't dictate, the trajectory of your learning, your learning curve. I know that if seeds are planted, trees will grow. You know what I'm saying? So I went to the Club Live last summer. This was my light bulb moment. This summer that passed, I went to Club Live in Miami, and we in there. Weezy and all of them is there. The shit pack is lit. You know what I mean? I turns around, and the whole fucking, niggas stand on the couch. Yeah. The whole couch was these dope boy niggas with comedic shirts on. Dripping though, iced out, dripping, looking like, you know what I mean?
Like the
on their king shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On their king shit. So they're tapping in, they're tapping in to the ancestors, they're tapping into the culture via an avenue through the fashion that they're either subconsciously or consciously identifying with.
Low-key, comedic culture is cosmopolitan. Mm-hmm. It was the high end.
It was very cosmopolitan.
Okay.
They the ones that set up the whole blueprint for you having a city, having elite classes of people. We the ones set up the caste system. We the ones set the standard for the new thing is people mad at Pharrell because all the girls is light skinned. You heard on the thing.
Right.
People don't understand that we the ones that made up the blueprint to charge higher prices for white women when we used to sell them. You heard? In Spain. You heard? So the point I'm trying to say is that we created the market for that and invested that same blueprint within the genetic construct of the entire world. So now aesthetically you find that when you separate the cultural context of the conversation as to why they don't have enough people of color in certain sectors of finance, especially in media and shooting and film and all that stuff, is because it goes back down to art and aesthetics. There's more red tones in lighter skinned people. You heard? In their red tones is what makes primacy buy. That don't have nothing to do with your culture, how you feel about nothing. Commerce. It's about commerce and it's about your physiology,
and it's,
your primacy.
Science behind that. It's a lot of science.
It's a tremendous level of science, inclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Once you get into the art, once you get into the field, then you'll understand that there's all kind of shit at play that you never even considered.
They have
it's algorithms and grids that they put on your.
I was about to say that.
Asymmetry.
They got grids that they put on your face to see if you will set.
Yeah, like
golden ratio.
Going back to the whole comedic thing, it's like, if I had the support, you know what I mean? If the community, was, if we had funding, if we had people in the community that understood the concept of, supporting, and I ain't talking about buying a shirt, I'm talking about real kind of funding, like warehouses, factories, cutting a check where, I'm getting $1 million seeding or venture capitalist, angel investor kind of funding, where I could basically get all of these shirts and VIM, Jimmy Jazz, and all of this stuff so the public could wear it. But unfortunately that didn't happen. So the way that the ancestors work, they made that shit explode 300%. Now, all kind of brands popped up. I mean, you have to give credit to the ancestors for the shit that I'm seeing. It's brands that was doing like dumb shit. They were making clothes that was very downstairs a few years ago. Now it's all comedic.
If you go to the $10 store, Ragamuffin, downtown Brooklyn, for the females, they got the $10 outfits
looking,
all
you see them?
you know what I'm saying?
I'm looking at the dots, the dot dresses. But they in the club dotted out with their little Nefertiti King Tut stuff. I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, the way that the energy works or the spirit works, they created the floodgates. So now all kind of seeds are being planted. You might have 100 people this weekend buy some King Tut comedic stuff. If 20 of them went home and said, I'm gonna go on Google or I'm gonna go on YouTube and search just a little further, then it's a touchdown. It's a win-win. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not a fad. It's a win-win because people is like, oh, it's just a fad. It's gonna pass by. No, it's a seed that got planted. Because when I was in the streets, kind of ignorant as to a lot of things, I still had something in the back of my mind that was like, yo, you know, whenever I see some Egyptian shit, I was drawn to it. So you can't negate what other people are drawn to. Like, you just the deepest dude, and you know what I mean? Because you can read the Medu Nectar. It's exclusive because niggas be trying to own shit, and you can't own anything because in this, once again, going back to the occult studies, there's never been a time when man was not. We already been here before, all of us.
The Egyptians, if we was to send them back a note from this present time, they wouldn't claim us. They would be like, we don't fuck with them, and they will call us niggas of the time. They will call us Iparus, which is what they call all people outside of their culture. So you got a bunch of people that don't want to tap into who they are genetically. Your culture, your soul, and your biology determines your spiritual premise, where you coming and where you going. A lot of us here, the African American, is a new entity. You are filled with Irish, you're filled with all of these other different types of cultural experiences. So that's why we in such levels of dissonance within ourselves as a people. We've got all these various behaviors because there's wars going on inside and culturally in our blood.
Yes, and one of the things, when you look at it in a deeper context, the art form that helped alleviate some of that was hip-hop. Cosmopolitan music form for everybody. Because I said this before. I went to a Dead Prez concert at Santos a few years ago, and me and my brother, like, if racial tension was up, we would be in trouble. Because it was 99% white people, and they was spitting all of the lyrics.
Public Enemy.
I never seen Chuck D pull a mic or refuse to perform because, you know, it's 100,000 or 200,000 white people.
Well, why? You know, they talk about that a lot. Chuck D, Public Enemy, Dead Prez, all of these revolutionary music artists. Why do white people love to see artists talk about?
Because white people honor culture, and they honor culture, and they honor paradigms that are especially anti-establishment.
Yeah, and
they have a whole long litany of cultural paradigms that they like. Happy Days with the Fonz. His aesthetic with the leather bomber, the flat jean, the black boot became the blueprint for the punk rock era, and they just put graffiti-esque gang stuff on it and just marginalized it again and got into a tighter margin with it. But they honor and respect culture more so. I say this because of the privilege of them not having to defend themselves constantly, economically, educationally, telling people who they are. They can explore other people's cultures.
Now, are they exploring, or are they admiring it, or are they culture bandits? Which one is it?
I think you should be a culture bandit if you don't have no culture, and I think we blame them for not having a culture, but then we even mad when they adapt ours. You heard?
Exactly.
And then we even get way more mad when we see how they commodify our culture.
How they adapt it and they monetize it, and they win. They run with it, and they're able to win because they're able because
they got the whole media backing them.
Research, because of resources.
In them.
But you utilize what you got, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Like a Cool Herc in them didn't have the blueprint to commodify or monetize hip hop when it first arrived on their lap. You understand?
Right.
They didn't have that dialogue to talk about distribution and talk about all that stuff. And then low key, here comes the white folks that's showing you how to do it. And the honors to that was Pharrell's suit. When Pharrell wore that outfit at the Grammys, what was that, American Music Awards or the Grammys, one of them, he wore that hat And everybody was like, what is he, a scout, a Boy Scout or something?
Yeah.
But nobody did their due diligence, and nobody knows true. Black people don't even know true hip hop culture. They didn't know that was Malcolm McLaren, a white man who brought out that Buffalo Girls, that joint that everybody was. It was Malcolm McLaren and the world famous Supreme Team. You know what I'm saying? And that was their outfit. They had the hats on and they had the press on leather shirts. World famous Supreme Team. So he's up there, everybody making fun of his hat, and it's the stupid black niggas that don't know nothing about culture. But the white people who respect and honor it is like, ooh, that was upstairs for you to represent hip hop from that era. And the first time I heard that song made me love hip hop. And he's the one that he programmed the beat for. You heard? That's when I decided, I was like, yo, this is it. What? 3 Buffalo Gals going around here. That shit was on the chain.
Well, let me ask you this. What you think about both of y'all from Brooklyn? The recent comments Spike made about the hipsters taking over Brooklyn, gentrification, turned it, what's that park? He said it got turned into the, it got turned into
a dog show.
Yeah, a dog show. What you
make a movie about that shit?
What you think about that?
I mean, Spike is Spike. Spike was a social commenter in his heydays. You know, do a movie, do the right thing kind of thing. Like spoof that shit, make it Spike-ish, you know what I mean? I mean, I love the Rant. The Rant was funny and everything, but you a content creator. You a creative person. Don't just because now they spray painted on his house. Do the right thing. You know what I mean? Now you got European crackers or whatever banging. Having Twitter arguments with people. That's bull. Yeah, that's a waste of time. Go and take with those what you see and just be creative with it. Because there's nothing that you could do to stop it. It's already here. They done took Brooklyn and Manhattan. Go do the research. The 2 most expensive places to live in America, not New York. And then US fucking .8.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn is number 2 and Manhattan is number 1.
You fucking
just came
Brooklyn?
Out. Yeah, Brooklyn.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Ask all the niggas in Atlanta. They got pushed out of Brooklyn. In North Carolina, South Carolina, was really real. You know what I'm saying? Niggas living in the woods of Pennsylvania now because they can't afford to pay the fucking rent. Because them hipsters and them, it's economic warfare.
Yo, I'm on a plane with a white girl from Bushwick. And she said, yeah, they're pushing us all out, man. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I've been in Brooklyn 4 years. They're pushing us all out. It's getting so expensive.
Some shit.
So I'm looking at her, I'm like, bitch, they pushing you out. Yeah, fuck you talking about. But even she acknowledged that it's not even now. It's where your money at. Yeah, where's your tax bracket? And then we like this. Gentrification. It's bigger than gentrification. It's called, what's your pay grade?
What's your status?
What have you done to qualify? Because I'm low key, to be totally honest. I'm in the era for why the white folks had to come and clean up Brooklyn, the area where I know Spike personally. I seen him. Rest in peace to his brother Chris. His brother Chris was a crack addict, you heard? So he was buying crack on Fulton Street, Clinton Avenue, you heard? He was we seen that. So where it used to be and where it's at now. If you raising kids over there and you in we got Jeffrey Wright lives over there. He's a Oscar nominated actor or whatever. We used to have, and this is what people is failing to realize. That before the white people got there, there was elite black people there. Yeah. On Cambridge, where the Brooklyn DA lives right now, between Green and Gates, there used to be an Oxford-educated black man that was a Sufi. He had the first, solar paneling. This is 82. He had solar paneling. He was an architect, educated at fucking Oxford University. His name is Gregory Johnson, and he also builds supermaxes for the federal government. Yeah. You're an elite person. Branford and Wynton Marsalis lived on Washington. You heard? Larry Fishburne lived in Bed-Stuy. They left. They was like, we good. You heard? I met Sting on Washington between Green and Lafayette in 87.
Yeah, and then right down the block, Biggie lived.
Yeah, and Biggie was right there. So
Biggie was right there.
it's like we left, like the elite people, our people, we left and opened the way to let them come here. You clean up, and then you can raise
and it's like, you know, I was talking about this before. What they're doing, a lot of them are doing is they're taking grants. They're tapping in. These are graduates and college students. They're tapping into the grants that was allocated to Bed-Stuy and Harlem and Bushwick and Williamsburg for niggas. They're going ahead and getting the grants. They're writing proposals, and they're coming to open up a bagel shop in your trap house. You know what I mean? And then you act like they're doing something.
And then they tell a story and blog about it. Hey, this used to be a notorious crack house.
Yeah.
So many people died as a result.
Yeah.
Now we're selling tea.
Yeah, it's Connecticut bagel now. Yeah. You know, so they on a social. They doing us a favor. They think. Yeah, it's a term that I encourage people to go ahead and research called social entrepreneurship, and they even have social venture capitalists. So these crackers create blogs and get a non-for-profit or NGO, and that's why they in Harlem. That's why they're able to come in here. You think, you know, the rents is $4,500. That shit is a write-off. So, you know, on the heels of that, you know, you niggas don't clean up your neighborhood. You don't paint. You don't wash. You know what I mean? You don't wash the buildings. You don't gentrify your neighborhood. So why are you complaining if they coming in with their little arts and crafts, shit that you can see on YouTube, do-it-yourself type of shit, and they little fix up their little blocks, and now you can't afford to live on it. You got to step your game up because they're doing it everywhere. It's not a New York thing. It's just an everywhere thing. Every hood that I've been to is getting re-gentrified. So as a people, we should be sitting at the table because right now New York is currently
California.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just left up there. Yo, they gentrifying. They having the same conversation there. I'm in downtown LA. You never seen. How old is you, Rich?
31.
See, you 31. Rich, when back in the day, I don't know if you. Well, you from Harlem. You seen 116th Street, 118th Street, 120th Street in 19.
Back in 88 and 88.
You remember that?
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
So imagine that you're superimposed in 2014 with steroids times 20 in Los Angeles.
So that's how Oakland look?
That's how LA look, downtown LA. They like this, busting heads right there. The precinct is right there. They taking blasts at the precinct.
In 2014.
In 2014. Anybody that's from LA will tell you, San Pedro and 5th. You heard?
Yeah.
5th or Wall Street to add insult to injury. Wall Street in LA is nothing like the Wall Street here. Wall Street in LA is crack addiction. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So I'm like this. They even experiencing the first wave of the gentrification.
Give me a minute, right?
A few blocks down, they about to open up a Whole Foods. You heard?
Yeah.
So it's like it's really an economic thing, and they're really getting ready for what's going to happen politically for this country. It takes 3 people to make a social security check for somebody that's unemployed or old. As the job market decreases, those 3 people go down to 2 and then 1, and then nobody can give nobody no social security no more. So the only thing that can reinvigorate, and it's the last thing I'm gonna say because we gotta go, because we gotta set up for the joint. That's the last time I said, look, the only thing that can save this country is a political assassination.
You gotta elaborate on that though.
They gonna see within 2 years. They gonna see because they got all the stops. They got everything set up, and they using the media. You heard? And think about this: can you have the most famous black person in the whole world still exist post presidency without his presence taking emphasis off of the new white pontiff? If he's still here, nobody will even acknowledge a Caucasian new officer, chief executive officer. Aesthetically, media-wise, emotionally, you heard? So if you look at all the stops, that everything that they're doing, everything they do, they pushing everybody towards the same thing they did prior Kennedy, prior all that. It was so many political assassinations. Lincoln, all of that. The Lincoln movie. You heard? All of this stuff. Lincoln. And now Lincoln's a vampire with slaves. Lincoln movie, you heard? The thing with the black and the white man, and the lady who was a mulatto with his cabinet member, who was his wife, you heard? Going through all of this, they getting people ready, man. To ultimate Scandal as well. Scandal was one of the illest joints because Olivia Pope is the black pope. It's the female black pope, and she's the one that's autonomous to all law, legal stuff. She can fix anything.
Speaking of Scandal, I asked you this, Red Pill, because AA said he's finished.
That was theatrical.
What's your? And I asked Dot and Griff this when Griff was in Brooklyn. What's your take on the these the sister right here just mentioned Scandal. You got shows like
I don't even gotta say it. If you live in the crib,
being Mary Jane.
Yeah.
But hold on. Let me just finish this then, because I know you got a lot to say about this. What's your take on this whole new culture of quote unquote hoes is popping? Hoes is popping.
Yeah, hoes.
Charlamagne said hoes is winning. Yeah. You got side chicks, they being praised on TV.
Yeah.
You got wives at home feeling like, well, damn, we live in this stripper culture. I gotta shake my ass, like her. You know what I'm saying? So
let's get ready for the female president.
What's up with the rise of the what's going on with the rise of the quote unquote? I don't want to degrade sisters, but this is the term they use, hoes or
heaven on earth, baby.
Okay, so
heaven on earth.
So
the divine whore, the harlot. You know what I mean?
So she's to be praised, you saying? No,
what I'm saying
side
is
chicks, you saying?
What I'm saying is this, young man.
Going back
to what I was saying. Going back to what I was saying earlier about the times and the epoch and the era that we're living in. For all of the brothers, y'all should have been studying.
Right.
Instead of, I don't know what y'all been doing, but if you've been studying, then what you see, you would understand. Not to say that you're gonna be of it or in it, but you'll be able to look at it and identify, what times you're living in and whatnot.
Right.
So, I feel for the man whose whiz or wife or baby mama, whatever you want to name her, is comparing your relationship and her life off of the characters that they're presenting them via the reality shows and this new whole this whole epidemic that's taking place on TV. Because your life as a black man, because not only is the hoe popping, but the homos are popping.
True.
You dig what I'm saying?
True.
So your life, black man, who's trying to control, who's trying to, evolve into a black family.
Right.
You were completely under attack. You know what I'm saying? All of that is compromised at this point. You know what I'm saying? All of that is compromised at this point. The mind state, the mentality, and even the perception that the black woman has of herself is completely under attack because of the programming that is taking place on multiple angles. You understand? But mostly on a weekly basis through the TV and whatnot. Because every sister that I know tunes in. And that's what that's their shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they follow that shit religiously. They comparing their relationships. They comparing their lives. They comparing everything. They following on Instagram. They on Twitter running around, listening, reading.
Right.
So it's it's unfortunate because image is everything. And what I'm more concerned with is how is the image of our people being broadcast around the world. You're dealing with, we're living in a country now where people from outside is all around us.
Mm-hmm.
So how they gonna treat our mothers and our sisters and our daughters and whatnot? Where's the level of respect going now? You know what I mean? When if they watch these shows and they know what's going on, then if they on World Star every day, it's not a good thing. You know what I mean? It's not good. So my solution to all of that, or rather my I don't want to talk about problems all the time. The answer to that would be programming, reverse engineering. You have to create, like you got the camera, AA got the camera, we're content creators. You have to create a flood of positive imagery positive stories. And when I say positive, I'm not talking about tree hugging, save the whales type of stuff, because that's really not what we, you know, I'm not into all of that. I believe in the balance, you know what I mean? Give me the negative, but give me the positive as well. Give me a sister on a reality show to drop some fucking knowledge. Like, one time, I've been following y'all for 20 years. You haven't shown me one brother who is a reflection of the men that I grew up around and the brothers that you know, my contemporaries. You ain't show me nobody with no brains. You know what I mean? This on his square, and I haven't seen a sister that's necessarily on her square outside of she hates men, or, you know, she's so fucking smart that she sounds like a European.